Detailed case summary. Creswell v. Potter, 1978, is a significant case in employment law, particularly focusing on issues related to workplace discrimination and the implementation of technological changes. This case explores the balance between an employer's right to introduce new technologies and the employee's rights and adaptability to these changes. Background facts. Claimant plaintiff Miss Creswell, defendant Mr. Potter, representing the employer. Background facts. Miss Creswell was employed as a clerk by the British Gas Corporation. The corporation decided to introduce a new computer system, which required clerks to learn and use the new technology as part of their job. Miss Creswell and other clerks objected to the new system, arguing that it fundamentally altered the nature of their work. They claimed that they were hired to perform clerical tasks, not to operate computers, and that the introduction of the computer system constituted a breach of their employment contracts. Argument in the court case. Plaintiff's argument. Miss Creswell argued that the introduction of the computer system was a significant change in her job requirements, which she was neither trained for nor willing to adapt to. She contended that her employment contract did not include operating computers, and thus the employer was effectively imposing new terms of employment without her consent. She sought a declaration that she was not obligated to use the computer system and that doing so was outside the scope of her contractual duties. Defendant's argument. The employer, represented by Mr. Potter, argued that the introduction of the computer system was a reasonable and necessary modernization of the workplace. They maintained that the clerk's duties inherently included adapting to new technologies that improved efficiency and productivity. The employer contended that refusing to adapt to such changes could be seen as a refusal to perform contractual duties, potentially justifying disciplinary action or termination. Final outcome and legal justification. Final outcome. The court ruled in favor of the employer, Mr. Potter, holding that the introduction of the computer system was a reasonable and expected progression in the nature of clerical work. The court determined that employees could reasonably be expected to adapt to new technologies that are relevant to their job functions. Legal justification. The court's decision was based on the principle that employment contracts should be interpreted in light of the evolving nature of the workplace. The judgment highlighted several key points. Implied terms in contracts. The court found that employment contracts include an implied term that employees will adapt to reasonable changes in their job duties, particularly those that enhance efficiency and productivity. Reasonableness of changes. The introduction of the computer system was deemed a reasonable and foreseeable advancement in the clerical field. As such, it did not constitute a fundamental breach of the employment contract. Adaptability and training. The court noted that employees should reasonably expect some degree of job evolution and that employers have a duty to provide appropriate training for new technologies. Key concept. The Creswell v. Potter, 1978 case underscores the importance of flexibility and adaptability in employment contracts, particularly concerning technological advancements. It establishes that employers have the right to introduce reasonable changes to job functions and that employees are expected to adapt to such changes as part of their employment. Key learnings. Employment contracts are dynamic and must be interpreted in light of evolving workplace technologies and practices. Employers are permitted to introduce reasonable changes that improve workplace efficiency, and employees are generally expected to adapt to these changes. Proper training and support from employers are essential when introducing new technologies, ensuring that employees can meet the new job requirements.